I'm here with Sean of Differences to talk about The Family Portrait, out August 26th, a debut record from Differences. How's things going with you?
Oh man, great. Really excited to be here. Thanks for having me and super stoked to get this album out.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you about it because thanks to Kristen, I discover you guys, and we've dove into the singles and we checked out some of the tracks, and there's so much music out there that a band like yours can easily go under the radar, even for someone like me who listens to so much music. How do you counteract that? Is there a way for you guys as a band to fight the fact that it doesn't matter how talented you are, there's still a lot of people still won't be able to listen to you guys or find out about you guys?
Um, it is a balance. It's easy for bands like us to get so discouraged because you feel like, oh, the whole world isn't listening to you, so why even bother? But for one, we take a lot of pride in the fact that being that kind of local artist that really sets our roots down here in Southern California. But a part of that, it's this social media age, where you're pushing things, and we're taking a lot of pride in that with the music videos we're releasing, with our merchandise, our album artwork. Again, shout out to Kristen and everything to helping us to get pushed in these places where we have a voice, for people like you who don't get the chance to find all the bands. Cause like you said, there's so many talented bands, and it's no shade to any of them because a lot of them deserve the shine. So we're thankful for every opportunity we get to be in a space like this.
I'll tell you this: when she talked to me about the band, even before we checked out the video on the channel, I took the time to go on your social media, check out you guys, just to get an idea. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to know too much going in because I like to be surprised when I check out a video and stuff like that. But I just wanted to see. First thing I said to myself was, "Wow, these guys like they're on point as far as the merch is concerned. Really cool designs, really slick looking. I'm loving it." Then I see the video, super professionally done, really cool. The artistry of the video for journalists I'm referring to, absolutely phenomenal. And I'm like, this doesn't feel or look like a band that's taking their baby steps. I mean, this is professional shit. So you guys definitely got your game on.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. We've been around a while. We're not new to this. We won't pretend to be new to this. And with that comes experience. Again, a lot of people can feel like you would love to hit the ground running and take off, but it doesn't always happen. But we have no regrets about it. We've come to learn a lot of things to the point of a lot of this stuff is DIY. We're doing it ourselves, man. Our guitar player, Gene, shout out to Gene, is it a stranger? Does all the photography and videography. A lot of music videos are his ideas. It's him behind the camera filming us. If it's not him, shout out to 3X Stitch Ryan, who did the majority, basically did all of our artwork, our merch, our album design. It's just us, and we take pride in that. Like it's art. That's what we want to do. We want to create art, and we love the fact that being this grounded, this local, this up and coming, that we still have a heavy say so in what we want to put out. So the fact that people appreciate it, we love that. Even if it's just you or nobody else says it, as long as one person likes it, we're like, yeah, that's great. That's really great,
Dude,
man.
it's to me, I always feel like you cannot make a first impression twice. Like there's only
Yeah,
you can only make a
yeah,
first impression once. And how
yeah,
many times I couldn't even tell you how many times bands have reached out to us, asked us to check out their debut video or their debut album, whatever. And we press play and we're like, okay, the quality of the track is there, the quality of the music is there, but the video looks like it was shot in a Nokia phone. Like it's just and it's hard for with so much out there, you have to find a way to break through that haze that exists. And if you release something and the quality is not there, you're not going to get that listener to come back again the second time around.
yeah.
So kudos to you guys for realizing that and going strong from the get-go.
Yeah, appreciate that. And one thing that we've seen a lot, and we played hundreds of shows and been on a few tours and seen like that. And the one thing is that presentation. Like honestly, all of us in the band aren't big on social media. We're there for the memes, but it's self promoting. We're kind of
You
like,
sound, you sound like my son. I think you guys are all the same generation.
yeah, most likely, yeah. Like we're there for the hey, I have a good time, but doing the work part of it, we just want to create. So in seeing that, and no shade to other bands, but like you said, it's hard. It's very hard because you get so caught up in presentation and how things look that even your sound, you start to lose your sound because you're like, well, that first impression is so important that we have to sound like this. But as you said, there's so many bands, it's easy to get lost in that same sound of everyone else. And I'm not here to say like, we're the most different, unique sounding band ever. Like that's not our, how we feel, but it's just a fact of we took a lot of time. This album itself took about 3 years. We rewritten it like 3-4 times already, because each time we're like, okay, that's presentation wise, that's cool, but will it translate to live? Will it translate to listening good on the album? Do we feel like our most comfortable and realistic selves when we play each song? Because at the end of the day, that first impression, as important as it is, we have ourselves our own philosophy of the fact of like, when we meet people at shows, if you don't like who we are, then what's the point? We're not going to put on some kind of facade of who we are for you to like us, and then you find out that we're all a bunch of like anime loving nerds that you're like, oh, never mind, I'm not I'm not here for it. So who we are is what you get off the rip. So that first impression, like you said, is very important. We try to make sure we stick to ourselves while still being very presentable.
You had me at anime.
There
So
you go.
for those checking out this interview that they've never heard differences, who are differences?
Man, differences is a collective of people. One of our things is we're a revolving door of members because we have a lot of members, but collective people from spread out Southern California who I say a lot, but we just love to create, man. We sonically, we're at a point where you can call us metalcore, post-hardcore. One article, we already have one thing, we just call us whatever core. Like it doesn't matter. We just want to play music. It's something that we realize the biggest thing is we're a collective of people who at the end of the day, we don't want to get up on stage. We don't want to have an album that you hear and you feel like the message is trying to talk down to anybody or sound like we're better or we know morality better than anyone else. At the end of the day, we are all, ourselves included, trying to just be better people. And one of the biggest things is the fact of being called differences. One of the meanings is the fact that we are all different and that's okay. Like we don't all have to be uniformity. We have a community of music that people listen to different things. That's great. It's the fact that we are all different, especially in the band, our beliefs, the way we're raised, our cultures. The fact that we are different is what makes us this puzzle that comes together, that forms the world, that makes it beautiful and creative. So that's one thing we really stand for.
Wow, man, that's really cool to hear. When it comes to the sound, I mean, after listening to you guys, listening to a couple of tracks, I definitely got that post-hardcore vibe from the sound. But what are some of the biggest influences for you musically?
Oh man, you can say when people see us live, we give a lot of like kind of Let Live vibes, maybe. More obscure one would be me and Gene personally. We're big fans of a band called Oceana, almost like Oceano, but Oceana. They quit a while back, kind of just like emo phase metal rock, kind of thing. Big fan of that. It's very I know everybody says diverse, but it is very diverse. We got a lot of bands where, especially even some local bands that we grew up with that inspire us to write. But I would say probably at this point, Let Live and Oceana.
Family Portrait comes out August 26th. What are your expectations of this long-awaited debut record?
Man, just to get it out, like I can say one thing for as artists, I know as an artist, it is, you'll never feel like your work is fully done. You always feel like you can do more and more. So when you get the feeling of like, we put this out, we love it, like we are really proud of it no matter what. That's all I expected for. I'm just ready for it to come out. I'm ready for people that are ready to enjoy it. I'm ready for people that are like, not for me. And then maybe in the future they come out, they're like, you know what? After a few more listens, yeah, it is for me. I'm ready for people that are like, yeah, it's not for me. Not a big fan of it, because that's valid too. It's not in their taste, but genuinely, we're just excited to put it out. I'm mostly excited for some of the merch we're putting out because I just want to like snag a hoodie that we have for myself. Honestly, that's another big part, but mostly we're just excited.
It's definitely not cool to wear your own merch, specifically if you're performing live. So don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that.
Yeah, that is true. But no one said anything about wearing it before you perform. So
Yeah,
I'm taking that one for sure.
When you
But
go to the mall, when you're going out on a date, that is totally cool.
Exactly. But I'm just excited to put it out because we're just very proud of this, man. Like we've been doing this for a few years. We put out a few, EPs and like that, and to feel our growth in this, like sonically, lyrically, all of it, we're just proud of it. We just want to put it out. So we just look excited for it to be done and have the CD in our hands.
I can imagine you going on a date to the mall wearing a hoodie and then somebody saying, dude, you look just like the singer from Differences. And you're like, yeah, that guy's super cool. I know. That's why I bought the hoodie.
Yeah, that's a problem because I definitely am the front of like who? Like I found this at like a Goodwill, something like that. I'm not that kind of problem. But if someone does, I generally my eyes will be like, oh, you know us? That's crazy, So yeah, that's crazy.
You'll get there. Don't worry. It's coming. It's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah,
Yeah,
it always
I have a
comes.
good feeling about you guys. Now
Appreciate it.
you mentioned the EPs before. Did an EP like Depth Perception, did that help you guys reshape the sound that then you're gonna hear on this full length record?
Oh, most definitely. We had depth perception. I think because what we had before was EP Common Ground that we did ourselves, and we did a tour and we did a stop in Long Beach. We ran to one of our friends, Rich. Shout out to Rich, and he connected us with the guitarist for Let Live, Jeff Sahun. Like, and then he was like, "Oh, you guys are sick. Would you guys like to do some recording stuff?" And we realized that, hey, the stuff we put out for Common Ground could be better. So we went and re-recorded it for Depth Perception, added like a song or two. And that was huge alone. Getting his expertise and experience on how things work was very eye-opening. Like, great dude, great dude. Now has a new band called Erase Theory. Shout out to Erase Theory. And I love Jeff, man. So that alone with the experience of tour, and we've always felt like we wrote what we wanted to write, but we did, younger, we're like, but we got to make sure that it is marketable. But now we feel like we know what we have. Honestly, we are like the past stuff we've worked on has been much better live than it's been on the albums. So this focus was like, okay, we know what we bring live. Let's just make sure energy wise this matches the album. So that's the biggest thing we've learned. How do we match the energy from our live sets into the albums that you play on Spotify or iTunes or you listen on a CD? And that's what we feel like we really capture with this. So definitely that would be the main thing. How do we capture our live presence and put it here? And we've learned that a lot throughout the years. And this is where we feel like we've finally begun to nail it.
When it comes to the lyrical content, it feels very personal.
Mm-hmm.
Is it almost pages of a diary?
Ooh, very much so. This whole album in itself mainly is a dedication to our guitar player Gene, his, his mother who passed when he was young, and so this is mainly a dedication for him. And the album talks about loss a lot. The main thing is the family portrait. Like the third time we were writing this, I was sitting there. This is like the middle of the pandemic. I'm sitting there with Gene and Nicholas Miller, the drummer, and we're writing stuff and going over stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, we're in this hard time, and I suffered a loss during the pandemic. Some other people suffered losses. And so I'm sitting here with these people that aren't blood, but feel like my family. So I came with the concept, brought up to them. I was like, hey, what if we name this like the family portrait? Because of the fact of you take a family portrait, you see it, and the family is smiling. And you see that first impression of that family. But same thing with the world. You might see this first impression that the world, things may seem good. Social media, maybe people are trying to, flaunt like things are good, but deep down, families have problems. They argue, they fight, it's just a lot. And so this album itself talks about the family portrait of, on the surface we may look well, but there are things that we need to improve and come together to work together. And one of the main things with going back to Gene is what happens when that loss is so heavy and it affects the family, and then all these other things start to happen from it. So we hope lyrically, it's a little bit in the feels, a little bit sad for people, but we hope at the end of the day, people recognize that it is okay to feel some of these negative emotions. We just can't fully stay there, but at the end of the day, we're trying to improve and things like that.
So do you look at this record and do you look at the lyrical content as just lyrics, or do you look at it as poetry? Because for anybody that check out that journalist video, man, that's some Edgar Allan Poe shit going on there.
Man, it was poetry's a weird, I would say real life. Poetry, yes, because when writing, took it as a typical singer as like lines have to rhyme, AB pattern, AA, BB type pattern, things like that. But it came to Gene pulling me aside one day and being like, hey, I don't think we have to rhyme that much. I think we can just say stuff. Now, it was a force of habit. I still try to rhyme some things, but as you listen to the album, sometimes it's just to get the point across, lines don't rhyme, because in life itself, life doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always draw one thing to the other one perfectly. Sometimes it just takes you on a whole new path. So I would say lyric content wise, poetry in a sense, but more just real life. Because there was a lot of times where I was writing, I'll be stuck on a line, like, how can I go here? And I'm just thinking, just be real about it. Just say how you feel. It doesn't have to make sense with the next part or rhyme perfectly with the next part. Just say how you feel. Be real about it. So I would
I'll
say
be
that.
honest with you. After checking out that video, I said to my son that if these guys did like a spoken word poetry reading session or something, I would go see that. Like, holy shit, that was like I was blown away. I was like, holy fuck, this is deep, man. This is insane. Like, I was really taken back. I mean, since Henry Rollins, I hadn't experienced anything like that. I was like, holy shit, these guys are
Appreciate that,
a
man.
generation of poets here.
Bro, appreciate that, man. Like it's and that's what we want. We just want to be real, man. Like it's we want to talk about it. We don't want to say the and again, I say it sometimes during live shows, and it's no shot at anybody at all, because we just recognize that some bands get up there and talk about love, some talk about like hatred, some talk about sadness, and it but they do kind of sugarcoat it, Like I look back to Nirvana and the way just flat out, like Radiohead, just flat out like this is how I feel, and people are like, this is dark, but it's like, yeah, but at least someone's saying it, like someone is speaking about it. It may make you uncomfortable and you may want to check on them, which is fine, but someone's speaking about it, because we hold things back too much because we feel like you don't want to burden people, but you gotta let people know, you got to speak about it. And even to the point of journalists, you got to write it out, even if you can't tell, because you will understand people who don't understand you all the time. You got to write it out.
I'm going to be honest with you. Going in, I thought the whole video and the whole song was going to be about fake news. So I was extremely happy that you guys didn't go down that dark path.
Right, right,
And I was like, oh, all right, this is already a win in my books. So
right.
I just thought that maybe that's where you guys were taking me down
Mhm,
that
mhm,
rabbit hole, but it wasn't. Now,
mhm.
musically and sonically, we talked about the band, like you said, whatever core. Do you see outside of a genre that you could label the sound and sonically speaking the music? Do you see the band having certain cornerstones that there need to be there in order for the sound of the band to be the sound of the band?
Most definitely. I would say there's a lot, and that's we all take a lot. You have Gene, who is hardcore till he dies, like, and he has those kind of those little riffs, the like, dun, 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 those like almost two step, get ready to throw down riffs in there. You have Nick, the drummer, comes in and is a little more pop punk vibe, so he has like, we gotta have like a little melody to it, a nice little rhythm groove to it. You have BJ, our newest member, our bass player, comes in and is just all around. Just BJ can play anything, so I don't even know. But but for me, I do have more of the post hardcore. Like we need that sad feeling. So most times we go into writing a song, it is the fact of like, okay, we need to come in hard and heavy with Gene, and then even me for punk. Like I'm like, we need to come in hard and heavy for Gene. We need to have a sonically sound that I can just yell. I may not be doing lows or extreme highs, but I just be able to yell. And then the chorus will kick in, and we need to have that kind of melody going, which leads to that soft spoken word type thing. Then back to just a heavy hitting Gene hardcore step. So definitely hardcore, punk, post hardcore. It's a lot, but yeah, definitely some cornerstones of things that were like, yeah, let's throw this in here, that we always come back to.
Yeah, in the video he did a little bit of a slam dance there with his guy.
Yes, yes, heck yeah. We encourage him to do that a lot. We we had to teach a bass player BJ how to do it too. In between takes, we were like, all right, this is how you do it. We were trying to teach him how to do it so we can get his on too. Yeah,
That was really cool when he had a guitar on his side and he's just fucking going at it.
yeah,
I
just
thought
going
that
in.
was really cool.
Mhm.
As a vocalist, where do you see your strong points and where do you want to improve going forward?
Oof, man. Strong points, just range. All in all, range. I know. Real quick story to start the band. The band started back in like 2013 when it was just me and Nick, and we were guitar players. I went off to school and he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, we have a show," and I was like, "Okay, cool. With what band? We don't have band members yet." And it came down to it. We couldn't find a drummer. We couldn't find a singer. We found everything else. So he was supposed to be the singer because he can blow, he can sing. But I was like, okay, I'll just do the singing. You play drums. I've never done singing or screaming before. I was like, but I'll do it. I love whatever. We'll do it. And did it for the first show. Everyone was like, oh, that was different. I like it. I stuck with it. So definitely I've been improving over the years. I feel like this album has been my best work. I finally hit a point where I don't feel so straining. I don't feel so I can listen to my music without like cringing myself. I would really cringe. I listen to my old stuff. But I would even say to other people on my journey, I was a big fan of the Color Morale, the vocalist Garrett Rapp, because he used to do like typical screams, and then on No Hope album, he had this very like raspy thing, and I was like, that sounds like me. So I can do this. I don't have to sound a certain way. So I would encourage other people, learn the fundamentals that I'm still trying to practice now, but also find a way to put that to your style. So that way you enjoy what you're doing, if that's what they're looking for. So me personally, yeah, I still feel like I have a long way to go with range, like highs and lows, but for where I'm at, I'm very proud of where I'm at.
One last question for you. So with the album planned out for August 26th, what's next for you guys? Are you planning some shows in your area? Are you thinking beyond that, like renting a van and trekking across the nation? What's the plans?
Yeah, this is where it's a great thing to interview me because I just give away all the secrets and the band will just, start to find like, well, you're not supposed to say that. But for the most part, yeah, we're planning to put the album. We do have some release shows, plural, coming out for the album that we want to run and everything like that. A couple of tours that we're trying to figure out to get on, and things like that. We're working everything out. The good thing is the fact of the drummer Nick just had his first son. So we're like, it's a great time. We're really happy, really excited. So we're trying to make sure that, we have enough time to let him be with his son, spend time with that. And that way he feels comfortable going on the road so we can take this on the road. But definitely, we love the last tour we went on was right before the pandemic in like 2019. And we were already looking for the next one, but it got shut down. So we're really stoked to get back to it. Really, really stoked to get back to it. So yeah.
I think for you guys, finding a tour package shouldn't be hard because you're a band that, with the quality that you have, the sound, you can fit with a more hardcore vibe. You can fit with a metalcore vibe. Like you can fit with a lot of different vibes. So finding a package that works for you guys, I think it's just getting you guys out there and more people listening to you. Because all I can say is this: I can say two things right now. One, the quality of the music is undeniable. I honestly, I was blown away by how good the tracks were. And then the second thing is, I don't know how old you guys are, but you guys sound way more mature than what you look.
Yeah.
And that is something that you don't see these days. You're very grounded, very mature. You don't see that combination at all. So I'm honestly really hyped for you guys, and I really hope that you guys reach the success that you want.
Appreciate that, man. Shout out to Austin Coop, who mixed and mastered the album. Did phenomenal work. Chuck Bennett, who helped with drum tracking. These guys did freaking phenomenal work. So we're really happy with it too, and I really appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right, Sean, man, all the best for you and the guys. We'll talk again, I'm sure. There's going to be many reasons. Now that you guys are on my radar, I'm going to keep my eyes open for everything that you guys are doing. When that new merch, when that new hoodie drops, let me know. Hit me up. Let me know so I can support you guys and pick up some merch on your Bandcamp.
Got you. Really appreciate it. Check out our Instagram. We have or Twitter. We have our links to our store. You can go ahead and pre-order some stuff now for everybody too.
I'll put everything in the description of this video so everybody can go and check it out.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Take care, man.